Welcome back to the Venom Workshop. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to do we're going to replace the gas tank on this Grizzly. It's not terribly difficult, but does take a bit of time. You have to lift up the body a bit to get the gas tank off. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that, and we're going to go ahead and we're just going to change this gas tank, and so we might as well just get started right away. So we can go ahead. Pull our Grizzly up a tiny bit so we can look at it here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the seat off. So to take the seat off, reach underneath. I'm going to pull, it pops up like that. So then we come to the back here. What we're going to want to do is, I'm going to take the seat right off, obviously. But we're going to want to remove this rear rack, and you're going to need a 10 mil socket to do that. So I've got one of those. Now there's just 4 10 mil bolts, and they're just below down here. I'm going to loosen them off, but I'm not going to take them all the way out until it's ready to take the rack off, so it's not flip-flopping all over the place. There we go. Okay. Now I can take all my bolts out just by my fingers. Try to keep a tray or a container or something that you can put your bolts in so they're not just all over the floor. A lot of people don't realize it, and then when they go to put stuff together, they've kicked the bolts under stuff, and it happens, you lose them fast. Grab my magnetic tray. Okay, now we're also going to want to remove, excuse me, we're going to want to remove the body too, so not the whole body, but we want to be able to lift it up. So what we're going to want to remove is the bolts here, 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 and all the ones on the footwells. So we're going to get started at that. You just need a number 5 Allen key to do that. And just go ahead and take these bolts out first. And this is an Allen key. I just have a driver on the end of it that's a number 5, so it makes it a little bit easier than just using an Allen key the whole time. If all you have is Allen keys, that's fine. Now this one has a 10 mil nut underneath it, and usually you can hold it with your fingers. Just like that. So that's all the ones that hold the back part of the body on. So all it's holding it now is the ones at the footwells. So these ones here is what's holding us on now. So we're just going to disconnect those, take those out. I want that rubber to come off with it so it doesn't fall off on the floor. And just put your bolts and nuts back together like that so you'll know which ones they are when it's time to put them back on. And you're going to want to do the front too. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It doesn't need to be on camera, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. All right, so I got both sides off. Now, what you're going to have to do now is, because there's clips that hold this body to this boot well here. So all you're going to want to do is just kind of push down the body like that, lift it off, and then it's out. I've already done the other side, so they're both loose like this. And that's what I want. I also want to come up here and just kind of, if I have to lift those up, they can flip up like that too. And that's all I need to take out for bolts now, because now I can pull my body up high if I want. It won't pull up right now, and there's a reason for that. It's because the gas cap's on. And that's stopping me from lifting the body any higher. So that will help you get your tank out of there, and you're really going to want to do that. Make sure to loosen this body off like this, and then we can get the tank off. Make sure to remove your gas cap as well. If you're replacing an old Grizzly tank that had gas in it, obviously drain all the gas out of it. This ATV has never had gas in it yet, so the tank is literally empty. So I have nothing to worry about there with gas falling all over or anything like that. So we can go ahead now and loosen our tank off. You're going to need a 10 mil wrench to do that. And you're also going to need your 5 mil Allen key. And I'll show you how to get to it from the top and how to get down to it from the bottom. So I'm just going to get a 10 mil wrench. And I'll get my trusty Allen key here now. Tank mount, there's one right here. So we're going to want to take that one off. Again, for that, you're just going to want to put your screwdriver underneath. And you can just remove this has a lock nut on it. And I dropped the bolt, but that's not a big deal. But it does have a different nut on it. It has this nut on it here. It's a lock nut. So you're gonna wanna put it with that bolt. So put them both together so you know which ones are the mounts. And we'll put that in our tray. Now there's 2 more mounts for the gas tank. They're right there. So if you look directly down, that's one right there. And then the other one's right on the other side. And now, when I put my wrench up there, I'm gonna come from the bottom up here, and you'll see that's how I do it. So if you turn your handlebar the one way, it makes it a little easier to get it. Now I can get my wrench down there. There we go. We've got our nut. Now we'll go to the other side. We'll do the exact same thing. Do I have enough room to do it for that? No, I'll turn my wheel out. There we go. Get in there. There we are. Let's see if I can move the camera and maybe I can get it a little easier that way. No. Okay, so now I just have to get my nut from the bottom. On you. There we go. Yep. Okay, so those are both out. I brought my bolt out with it. I dropped it. Put off on that. It's not a big deal. Okay. So now we just have to take the other bolt out. It's already loosened out like that. I already took the nut and everything off it. I just have to reach in, grab the bolt. There we go. So now my gas tank is totally disconnected. I just have to take the fuel line off it. Now if we drop down here, this is our fuel line. So it comes from the gas tank at the front here, right where my finger is here, and it comes down then to the fuel pepcock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this hose here at the fuel pepcock, just like that. And now when I let the tank off, that hose will come with it, and I'm fine with that. I can always change the hose once the tank's off. So this is how you're going to have to maneuver this tank out. It's not something that's just going to slip right out of there. So lift up the body and just kind of wiggle the tank a little bit. It'll slip down out of its brackets like that. And then you can lift it, your body up like this, and then start working the tank out. Just like that, and our tank is out. And this is our tank right here. Just like that. Oh, don't mind me, I cut my hands all the time. It's not a big deal. So this is the tank's out. and then you just have to take this hose off. You might have to cut it off because once you put it on there, it does seize on there sometimes, but that's not a big deal. But it's easier to put the hose on now than once it's in the ATV. So this one, like I said, there's nothing wrong with this tank, so I'm just going to be putting it directly back in. But that's it. That's how you take it out. Now, again, once you get your hose on it and you go to put it back in, it's going to slip in the exact same way as it came out. You do have to flex the body a bit. It won't break it. If it's friggin' freezing outside, like if it's minus 30 outside and you try to do this, obviously you're going to shatter this just because it's cold. So temperature, you know what I mean, type thing. Take that into account, your temperature when you're doing this. Because if it's real cold, it'll shatter the plastic pretty easy. But if it's summertime, it'll flex no problem. If you're in a heated garage, it'll flex no problem. And you'll be able to get the tank in and out. It's not a big deal. So let's go ahead and we're going to put our tank back in. We'll go ahead and mount it and get it all set up. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so putting our gas tank back in is very basic. It's going to be the same way we took it out. Excuse me. So we're going to lift up our body like this. Just pull it out a bit. If you put your hose in first, like that, you just have to get your tabs in there. And then just get the spout in. There we go. And then our tank can go back up. And then we don't have to put our tank in place yet because we're going to put our body back down, but we can kind of maneuver it around a little bit. Here, let's see if I can. Okay. Perfect. Now we can go ahead and we can put our bolts in, and we don't have to tighten them up or anything. We just, if we put our bolts in with our nuts on it, it'll hold the tank in place till we can go ahead and put our body. If you notice my body's staying up, it's just because it's hooked on the side down here on this side, and it's giving me a lot more room like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my bolts in, and that way the tank is in place, and then when we put the body down, all we have to do is tighten everything up. So I've got all my bolts for that. There we go. Now to do this side, all you have to do is reach down with your fingers right here. Just make sure the little holes lined up. There we go. You know, I'm just going to go down, put my nut on, and then I'll do the other side. Good. Now we can come over here. We're just going to do the same thing. There we go. And there's lots of hand room down there, so you don't have to worry about it to get underneath with the nut. It's very easy. So we're just going to go ahead, might as well tighten these up right away while we're in the spot where we have everything lifted up. So we can tighten up the front ones. And you want to make sure these are tight, not overly tight so they snap, but tight enough that they hold the tank tight. because you don't want vibration in the tank, because motion and vibration will just eventually make something snap off. There we go. Now I'm just going to go around to the side here. I might as well tighten up this one right away. There we go. Okay. Now we can drop our body down. Just hold up, flip this tab down, and it'll go down. Just pull out your boot wells to put it down on both sides. There we go. And our neck came through, perfect. So this is where it's supposed to be. We can go ahead and put our cap back on. Now, before we go any farther, what we're going to want to do is put our fuel line back on, because you don't want to button all this up. Put the fuel in it, and then it drains all over. So you just take your fuel line from your gas tank, put it back on your fuel pepcock. Just like that. So that's on, and now we can start putting the body back on. Now, when we put the body back on, before we put any screws in, we want to make sure and line up these tabs first. So push down on the body, move that boot over, the boot well over, and make sure the tab slips in. Okay, so I snapped that one in. Now we're going to come around to this side. I'm going to snap this side in. And you'll see how it's separated like that. Now we're just going to line up the tabs at the bottom. There we go. And that hooked into place just like that. So now all we have to do is go ahead and put our bolts back in here. And these are all the small bolts with the nuts on them. And I'll show you one just so I can get started. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll do it myself off camera. But this is basically it. You just throw all four in, or all six in, I'm sorry, and then you just go around and tighten them after. So like that. Okay. Okay, so those are all in. Now I'm just going to tighten them. And you shouldn't need a wrench, because as you tighten the bolt up, the nut will grab into the plastic in the back and just hold. You won't have to. Okay, now this one. Okay. There you go. And that's that one side. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to go ahead and put it on. You just don't need my help for that. And then we'll finish buttoning up the body, and we'll put the back rack on, and we'll be done. All right, so we're back. So now all we have to do is put our 2 screws in the back here and here. Okay, now I just have to put the one in up at the front here. We have to put our back rack on, and that's it. So that goes on there like that. There we go. Okay, so that's all the body parts back on, our gas tank's in. All we have to do now is put our back rack on, and that's it. So the back rack, you remember, is just 4 10mm bolts. Got my 10mm ratchet. So, back rack, super easy to put on. I'll put my my front bolts in first, but I won't tighten them in tight. I don't want them tight yet. I just want them finger tight until I get all my bolts in. Now we can lift it up and put on our back ones. Okay, now we just have to tighten them off, and that's it. Now usually when I mount a rack and I tighten it, I lift it first. There we go. There we go. And that's our rack back on, and that's our video. That's how you replace the gas tank on your Grizzly.